Hello viewers, welcome to my channel IITJ Olympiads and AP Physics with Ambarish. And today I've brought a very interesting video. It was asked by one of the viewers, so I decided to do a video on this one, and I really enjoyed doing this problem, and I'm sure all of you will also enjoy as much as I enjoyed this one. So without much ado, let's straight away get into the problem statement. A small pearl moving in a deep water. By the way, this graphic is just representative. I put it on because I liked it, but it was not mentioned in the problem. Okay, the small pearl moving in deep water experiences a viscous retarding force that is proportional to its speed. Stokes law. So you can imagine that this pearl is falling, and then there is mg acting on this, and there is some viscous drag proportional to its velocity, and it will achieve some terminal velocity. Okay, so it is falling and retarding force is proportional to speed, that is Stokes law. If pearl is released from rest under water, then it soon reaches its terminal velocity v1. So if it is just released, then its terminal velocity is v1. Okay, and it continues sinking with this velocity. Okay, in an experiment, such a pearl is released horizontally with an initial speed v2. So instead of just releasing it like this, we have projected it with some horizontal velocity v2. Let me use some other pen. Okay, so we have projected it with some velocity v2, and obviously it will follow some kind of path, and after a long time, because of horizontal resistive force, the horizontal velocity has to finally become 0, and then again after some time it will be falling vertically, and obviously this velocity will be, terminal velocity will be again v1. So that's not mentioned in the problem, but I'm sure that is trivial and everybody could visualize this much. Okay, so we have projected it with the velocity v2 in the second case. That's what is given in the problem. Okay, what is the minimal speed of the pearl during subsequent motion? So this is it. So we have to find, if we project it horizontally, then what happens? Its horizontal speed reduces and gravity tries to increase its vertical speed. So somewhere in future its speed is going to be minimum, and after that it's going to increase. Okay, so we have to find what is the minimum speed during the subsequent motion. That is the part A of the problem. Okay, and part B of the problem is, in which direction should the pearl be projected with the same initial speed v2 in order that its speed increases monotonically during its descent. So we want that the speed should keep on increasing continuously without getting any minimum in between. Okay, so if you want, you can try out this problem. It's a very tricky problem, and you can give it some time, and if you don't get it, then please do have a look at the solution that I presented here. I'll present my solution right away. Okay, so let's see. So first thing, since the terminal velocity is v1, so when the bead is sinking with the terminal velocity v1, then upward thrust force, upward viscous drag is kv1, and downward is mg. So these two forces must be balanced. So we can say that mg vector should be equal to k times v1 vector. Okay, where k is some positive constant, and note that I have not put any minus sign over here because we know that g vector is downward and v1 vector is also downward. So this is the correct equation. Otherwise you could have written mg vector and minus k times v1 vector equal to 0. Okay, net force 0. So this is one equation. Okay, now when, let's say, you projected horizontally, or for that matter you projected in any random direction. Let's say v is the instantaneous velocity vector, so it is going in some direction with instantaneous velocity vector v. Then what happens? Then at that instant the viscous drag is k times v vector in the opposite direction, right? So in just opposite direction it's acting, and of course mg vector is acting downward. So I've taken again written the vector equation. So I can say that m times g vector and minus k times v vector is m dv by dt. So fair enough, simple laws of motion equation I've written here. Okay, now let's see mg here is there is mg here and there's mg here, so I can always substitute kv1 for mg. So what do I get? So instead of mg I have put here k times v1. Okay, and then it becomes k times v1 minus k times v vector is equal to m dv by dt. So just simplifying that, we can see that k times v1 vector minus v vector is m dv by dt. Now this equation looks like a very simple equation, but there's a very deep insight that you can get from this equation. it's something very beautiful happening in this equation, and I want your full focus to understand what's happening geometrically from what we can infer from this equation. See, so from this equation it is clear that dv vector, see dv vector, so this side is also a vector and this side also vector, so that means what, in dt time there will be some velocity vector change, and this direction should be same as the direction on the left hand side. When two vectors are equal, then their directions are obviously equal, so dv vector must be in the direction of v1 vector minus v vector. Okay, that's very important fact, that change in velocity vector is always along v1 vector minus v vector, and v1 vector is vertically downward, that's the terminal velocity vector, that's always downward. Okay, so from equation 3 it is clear that dv vector is always in the direction of v1 minus v vector. This is a very important geometrical implication. What is that? See, v1 vector, if I if I start drawing vectors in the velocity space, then v1 vector is a fixed vector which is downward in some direction. Okay, I mean in downward direction it has some magnitude, v1 vector, and let us say instantaneous velocity vector is along this, let us say this red one is the instantaneous velocity vector. Okay, this is the instantaneous velocity vector. So what is v1 vector minus v vector? So v1 vector minus v vector is this just I have drawn with the blue volatile ink. So this is your v1 vector minus v vector as I have shown with the dotted line. Okay, and dv vector is in this direction. Okay, so that means what, so v vector and plus dv vector becomes this blue vector. Okay, this one, and you this again lies on the same pink line, right? So this is the new dv vector, and this equation again holds at even after time dt for the next dt interval. So that means what, after another dt interval there will be another dv in this direction. Okay, and then the new velocity vector will be v plus maybe twice dv if you would like to call. And one thing is for sure, that since change in velocity vector is always in this direction, so that means tip of the net velocity vector from the initial point will always move along this. I hope this is clear. This is very important to understand. So I hope you have understood it. If you have not understood it, please pause the video or maybe rewind the video a little bit and try to understand what I've actually said here. This is very important fact, and that's, if you understand this, then this problem is over, then that's the crux of this problem. Okay, so I'll just repeat once that change in velocity vector is always along the difference of v1 vector from the initial velocity vector, right? v1 vector minus the initial velocity vector. Well, not in not just the initial velocity vector, in fact it is along the difference of instantaneous velocity vector and the final vector, and that direction is fixed. Okay, so the change in velocity vector is always along v1 minus v vector, and therefore the tip of the net velocity vector will move along the pink dotted line, as I said. Okay, that is along the direction of difference between v1 vector and the initial velocity vector. Because it's always along this dotted line, that means what, that means initial velocity, it's also along the initial, I mean the difference between the v1 vector and the initial velocity. All these velocity vectors will be, the tip will be continuously moving in on this straight line. Okay, now coming to the current problem, where we had projected the bead horizontally with some velocity v2. Okay, so we had projected the bead like this, and as just stated in the analysis above, so how will this v2 evolve with time? So in the velocity space, tip of v2 vector, I have said that is point O, and this is your v1 vector, that's the terminal velocity vector, that's vertically downward. So v1 vector minus v2 vector is this line AB, and therefore as the time progresses, this net velocity of the particle, the vector will evolve like this. And we know that at some point of time it must be perpendicular to the line AB, and when we drop the perpendicular to line AB, this must be the minimum possible velocity, right? So let's see what I've written. Okay, now coming to the current problem, initial velocity vector is all along v2 vector, and its progression with time can be visualized as the dotted line AB. Okay, and from the figure it can be obviously seen that v minimum occurs when the instantaneous velocity is perpendicular to AB, and from the figure now we can see that this v minimum, if I call this angle as theta, so v minimum is nothing but v1 sine theta, right? v1 sine theta, and tan theta is what? Tan theta is this v2 upon v1. So if tan theta is v2 by v1, so sine theta is v2 upon under root of v1 square plus v2 square. And from equation 4 and 5, now we can easily find v minimum is simply v1 into this thing, and that is v1 v2 upon under root of v1 square plus v2 square. So that's our solution to part A of the problem. Okay. Now let's go to the second part. What's the second part? Let me read the second part again. In which direction should the pearl be projected with the same initial speed v2 in order that its speed increases monotonically during its descent? Okay. So if I vary the direction of projection in the velocity space, if I vary the direction of projection, then tip of the v2 vector will lie on a circle. So let me show what I am saying. Okay. So for example, if the speed is fixed, so I could project it like this, like this. But since magnitude is constant, so this tip is going to lie on arc of a circle, and the radius of the circle is going to be the magnitude of v2 vector. Okay. And from part A, we inferred that least velocity occurs when the net velocity becomes perpendicular to the line joining the initial velocity vector, tip of the initial velocity vector, and v1 tip of the v1 vector. Okay. So if perpendicularity occurs, then that's the point of minimum velocity, right? So that means we should not get any perpendicular, we should not get the perpendicularity condition anywhere if we want the speed to increase monotonically. Okay. So least velocity occurs when the net velocity vector becomes perpendicular to the line joining the initial velocity vector and v1 vector. Therefore, for monotonic increase in velocity, this type of situation should never occur. That is, perpendicularity should never occur. Okay. Okay. Now, how to visualize? Suppose we project from, let us say, in the direction OQ. In that case, you know that you join the point Q with B, and then you will get minimum velocity somewhere over here. So obviously minimum exists, so that means what? Velocity is not changing monotonically. However, if you project along OP, then you can see it's monotonically increasing. Or if you project along any line below OP, then again the velocity will progress, the tip will progress along this kind of lines, and you can see that this keeps on increasing. Okay. So let me read out. For monotonic increase in velocity, this type of situation should never occur. Since the speed of projection is constant, its tip can be visualized to vary on dotted arc as shown in the figure, as I have shown here and I explained. Now it can be clearly seen that if the initial projection is below the direction OP, the condition of perpendicularity will never occur. Okay. So this is OP, and OP, this is the tangent of the circle. So if you project over here, so for example OA, I said this will monotonically keep on increasing velocity vector, right? Okay. So projection is below the direction OP, condition of perpendicularity will never occur, for instance along OA. However, if the initial velocity vector is above OP, for instance along OQ, perpendicularity will occur in future, as I just now said. So that's what I have written here. Okay. Therefore, direction of projection should be at an angle phi such that sin phi minimum is v2 by v1. That is, we should project it either along OP or below OP. In that case, velocity will change monotonically, increase monotonically. Okay. So that means what? We should project and this is the minimum value of phi. So either this should be the value of phi, or phi should be greater than this. Okay. And here this phi can now easily be found. This is 90 degree because it's tangent, and this is phi. So you can easily see that this is your v2 and this is your v1. So sin phi is nothing but v2 divided by v1. So that's what I've written. So sin phi minimum is v2 by v1. Therefore phi should be greater than or equal to v2 by v1. Okay. So that's the analysis of this problem number 19 from 200 more puzzling problems. I hope you enjoyed this video as much as I enjoyed doing this one. And if you liked the video, please do give it a thumbs up, and please share it with your friends through WhatsApp, Telegram, Discord, or whatever medium you use for collaborating with your fellow students who are preparing for IIT JEE or Olympiads. And most importantly, if you have not already subscribed to my channel, please do subscribe to my channel, because that is what keeps me motivated to post a new video every day. Lot of awesome stuff will be coming in future, and I want to thank each one of you for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one. And as always, God bless you all. Thank you.